6th straight home win. Recently acquired Ron Harper has been blistering opponents, as has second-year pro Danny Manning. They'll take on the Celtics next.
Season greeting to you wherever you may be watching NBA basketball on TNT tonight. The Boston Celtics come calling to the Los Angeles Clippers. It's an old and true adage in the NBA is you should win at home, and if you want to be in the playoffs and win a championship, you better win on the road. Both of these teams don't have that adage in hand this year. Boston only 4 wins on the road, and the Clippers have yet to win on the road. But the Los Angeles Clippers are going for their 6th straight win at home, and the Boston Celtics are coming in here with a loss at the Garden to Philadelphia just the other night. So, Rick Barry, the Boston Celtics are causing some grumblings in Boston. A lot of people, the fans there, are disappointed. But don't be misled. The Celtics can come in and get you.
No, you better not be misled, Bob. I think why they're a little bit unhappy is because the team has lost a couple of ball games in the 4th quarter. The fans in Boston Garden aren't accustomed to seeing that. But Boston Celtics have the experience that Bob talked about at the start of our little tease there. This is a team that anytime they step down the basketball court, they are capable of defeating you, Bob. Don't ever forget that.
It wasn't very long ago that the Clippers were the laughing stock of the league. You better not be laughing now. With the acquisition of Ron Harper, and now Danny Manning is back. Gary Grant's an excellent guard. I could go on and on. This is a talented, young, developing basketball team.
Yes, it is, Bob. And probably the most dangerous element of all is the fact that they now believe that they can win against quality basketball teams. And that's an extremely dangerous combination to have youth, talent, and confidence. When you have confidence in yourself, it's incredible what you're able to accomplish. And this team's been playing very hard, especially at home, and the Boston Celtics are going to have a difficult time tonight. They're going to have to try and slow this basketball team down, Bob. They're going to try and outrun the Celtics.
The Clippers are actually favored in this game tonight. The Boston Celtics have always won since the Clippers came to L.A. from San Diego. We'll be back to talk about Ron Harper right after these.
On the Sports Arena in Los Angeles, we were talking about the acquisition of Ron Harper on November 16th, along with 1990 and 92 Cavaliers first-round draft choices for Reggie Williams and the rights to Danny Ferry. Ron Harper has come here and really helped this club. He really plays well with Gary Grant in the backcourt. And prior to the game, we talked to Ron Harper about how he's adjusting to the land of Los Angeles.
Well, I feel very comfortable right now. I mean, the team has definitely got an offense that fit my style of play. We like to get into a transition game and like to get a lot of easy basket. And this is a team that is looking for a little leadership role from myself, and I think that I have been doing that pretty well.
Ron Harper began the week 5th in steals in the NBA. He's 20th in scoring, averaging nearly 22 a game. We'll be back here for the starting lineups in the tip, but right now let's go to Craig Sager in Atlanta.
Bob Neal, Rick Barry with you at the Sports Arena in Los Angeles, California. And if you're in the frigid eastern part of the United States, you'll be happy to know that it was a little cloudy here today, but about 78. We somehow managed to get through the day. Let's take a look at the lineup. Boston happy to be here. They've been working on getting some Los Angeles weather in, too. Bird and Pinckney will start at the forwards. Of course, Kevin McKay will come in and play more minutes than Pinckney at the power forward spot. Robert Parrish, new contract, playing very well this year. And the aging veterans, they are probably getting tired of being called that. Dennis Johnson and Jim Paxson will start at the guards for the Boston Celtics. Jim Rogers under a lot of pressure in the press and by fans in Boston, even though the Celtics are still very much in the hunt. They're in 3rd place in the Atlantic Division. And now for the Los Angeles Clippers, a team on the rise, some young talent. Charles Smith, the big power forward from Pitt. Ken Norman out of Illinois. Benoit Benjamin at center. Ron Harper, recently acquired from Cleveland. And from the University of Michigan, Gary Grant, the point guard. And Grant can score, deliver the ball. He even rebounds pretty well at about 5 a game. And there is Don Casey, who has some talent to work with. You'll be seeing off the bench, of course, in this ball game, playing 25 to 30 minutes. Danny Manning coming off the severe knee surgery. And that's the starting lineup and who you'll probably see playing for the Clippers in this ball game tonight. They are going for their 6th straight win here at the Sports Arena, even though the Clippers are 0-10 on the road. The officials tonight, Mike Mathis, Steve Javy, and Tom O'Neill will be officiating tonight's ball game.
Bob, I'll tell you one thing, this Clipper team doing a nice job of getting some consistency at home, despite the fact that this team hasn't had a chance to become very cohesive. Benoit Benjamin was out at the start of the season. Danny Manning wasn't here. Then they picked up Ron Harper. Charles Smith was hurt for a while. They haven't had time to really practice and get any type of any type of cohesiveness going for themselves, whereby they know who's going to be coming in when during the course of the ball game. And it's been a very difficult task for Don to be able to work with this ball club. And yet he's pleased because he sees progress. And he said the big thing, Rick, is that this team is playing hard. They don't give up. They don't quit like they had a tendency to do sometimes last year.
Tip controlled by the Clippers. It's going to turn over, however, to the Boston Celtics. They'll toss it again. Bad toss. Clippers control the ball. Gary Grant, number 23, the point guard. Dwight Benjamin with his double zeros. This is Charles Smith. Rebound, Ken Norman. Ken Norman in his third year from the University of Illinois. The Clippers have never beaten the Celtics since they moved from San Diego to Los Angeles. Bird down low. This game is tied. Larry Bird has been inconsistent, usually 40 points and then 15. He had 11 last game. That's bad news for LA.
I would think so, yes. It's tough when you're off for that long a period of time at that age to get your timing completely back quickly, but it will happen. I mean, he still has numbers that people would pay a lot of money to be able to have. 23 points a game, 7 assists. I mean, almost 10 rebounds. Pretty nice.
Gary Grant had tried to rifle a bullet pass to Harper, went out of bounds, and Boston controls. Bird finds Pinckney all alone for the reverse jam. Ken Norman looked like he got lost.
And his eyes still work as far as seeing people who are open.
In the 11-point game, Bird had 12 rebounds and 9 assists. Here's Grant from Ron Harper. They enjoy playing together in the backcourt. This is a backcourt of the future, Grant and Harper.
Well, this is a team really of the future, Bob. Maybe in 3 years, this is the team of LA.
Bird to Jimmy Paxson. Kept alive by Parrish.
Pushed off to get it. Had 2 hands in the back of Benjamin.
It's tied at 4 opening moments from Los Angeles. Bird tried to thread the needle to Paxson, out of bounds. Belongs to the Los Angeles Clippers. There's Don Casey. Grant gets a pick from Smith. Misses the jumper, and Paxson goes 1-on-2. He'll pull it up, and he'll set this up. Bird gets the roll. He has 4 early. An early start here, 5 o'clock Pacific Coast time. It's a sellout game. People still filing in, battling the Los Angeles rush hour traffic. Grant looking for Benjamin against Parrish. Rebound Pinckney to Johnson. Once again out very quickly is Robert Parrish. Gets the pass from Bird. Rebound Harper.
And good defense by Benjamin to change that shot.
Gary Grant saw the opening knife between Pinckney and Bird.
Those are the kind of opportunities the Clippers want to get. Transition opportunities.
Ken Norman playing Bird. Wondered how they'd match up. Celtics still present half-court matchup problems for anybody they play. Paxson from Bird. Paxson 0 for 2 from the field tonight. Ball belongs to the Clippers.
Yeah, one thing you remember about Boston, this is where I was surprised to see that first offensive rebound by the Clippers, is Boston still leads the league in defensive rebounding. And so you have to really work hard to try and get second opportunities against them. That's why the Clippers don't want to go for this half-court offense.
Harper from long-range rebound Parrish. Not much of a half-court team. That's a severe weakness for the Clippers.
It'll come, though.
Grant out on the break. On the wing from Harper. On the reverse, Gary Grant. 6 points early for Grant.
And another transition basket, just the way Don Casey would like to see it continue.
Grant's 5th in the league in assists, 4th in steals.
Now that's the guy that they're saying in the paper that a teammate said he's shooting too much and tearing us apart. Used to be the guy to hold us together. What a crock that is.
Grant now has 8 points. Bird has 6 points.
Well, Jimmy Rogers worried about this team, so this is the team that likes to drive and go to the basket. We have to be prepared for that.
Bird hasn't missed yet. Clippers lead it by 2. Dennis Johnson posts up. Draws the foul from Gary Grant. And Danny Manning enters the game with 7:54 to go in the first quarter, and the Clippers leading it by 2. There's Danny Manning, and Rick, we've talked about him before. Just to update people, he resumed full drills after his surgery on November 15th, activated on the 29th. His minutes raised now up to about 30 last week. He averaged about 12 points a game, shooting 53% from the floor.
Well, it sure is nice to see him back after that injury that could certainly have been career-threatening. Such a terrific young man. Had the pleasure of getting to know him because of my son Scooter and their association at Kansas.
So Danny Manning, Charles Smith, Harper, Ken Norman up front. Harper's up front or wherever he wants to be. He's one of those 6'6" lightning players. He loves to play against Michael Jordan and usually performs well against him. Norman missing from long range. Parrish with a rebound. That's his 3rd rebound early. Celtics down by 1. Only 4 road wins for Boston. They've lost 7. Beautiful pass to Bird.
That's why you can't turn your head and lose sight of the basketball.
Larry Bird hasn't missed. He's 4 out of 4 from the floor. Charles Smith. Pinckney kept it alive. It was knocked out of bounds by Ken Norman. It'll belong to Boston.
And that's a good example, Bob, of why the half-court game doesn't work for them. That was not a real good shot to take in that situation.
6:58 remaining in the first quarter. The Celtics have a 1-point lead. Sold-out crowd here at the Sports Arena in Los Angeles. Boston with a 1-point lead early on the LA Clippers in the opening. Rick and I were talking about the veteran Boston team, the young Clippers team. 59-16, Boston wins in age.
Just a slight differential there. But I tell you, if the Clippers are going to continue to win basketball games, they're going to have to continue to have these type of plays. Some good defense, swarming, triple teaming, the ball knocked away on the part of Grant. Harper off to the races. He spots the open Grant on the outside. He's able to take it in for one of the transition baskets that the Clippers have been able to get early in this ball game. That's why they're only trailing by 1.
Grant, 59 steals on the season, 4th in the league. So he got one there. Parrish. Own rebound over Harper. That's 4 rebounds for Parrish. His first basket.
Well, of course, right now they're playing without a center, the Clippers, that is, with Benjamin having gone to the bench.
Charles Smith from Pittsburgh playing at center. He played center at Pittsburgh because he said they needed me there, and I'll play center here when they need me. It hits from the perimeter.
Well, that's one of the things he can do with Parrish on him. He can pull him outside because Charles is capable of putting it on the floor and going to the basket as well as shoot that shot.
Charles Smith, of course, member of the Olympic team. Manning with the steal. Danny Manning with a poster shot there. That'll make the 11 o'clock highlights.
Well, it was outstanding defense on Danny's part to create that opportunity, as he just played outstanding defense.
Inside to Parrish, who had slipped inside of Charles Smith, drew the foul from Manning. Didn't look like Danny was having any knee problems with that open court running.
No, and I'm glad to see that as well. But watch the defense on Manning as we see the pass going inside. You can see the last part of it. There's the knockaway. What he had done is rotated himself beautifully to get to the outside to be able to pick the pass away. And that looked like a pretty strong run on the part of Danny Manning. Didn't really see any limping there. And, of course, we hope that it stays that way.
He made his first free throw, did Robert Parrish. And now misses this one. The game remains tied at 14 with 5:51 to go in the first quarter. Boston, good free throw shooting team. They're averaging about 82% as a team. Norman backing in on Bird.
That's just a great shot because Lowry played outstanding defense, and he couldn't do anything more than block the shot. Would have been the only thing extra that he could have done.
Bird gets the screen. Now makes the lob to Pinckney down low. Parrish is there to follow. It's going to be Clippers ball. Parrish would have traveled, but he didn't have control of the ball with which to travel.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Sometimes that isn't always the case, but what a great pass by Bird that was.
Reggie Lewis, Kevin McHale about to check in here for Boston. Manning. Bird loses the rebound after initially grabbing it, and Dennis Johnson's there to clean up the residue. And to Parrish again. They're trying to work Parrish inside, and he lost the handle on the ball last time. Travel this time. 5 Boston turnovers, only 1 Clippers turnover. Kevin McHale checks in. along with Lewis. It'll be Reggie Lewis and Dennis Johnson at the guards. McHale, Parrish, and Bird up front. Gary Grant, left alone by Dennis Johnson, misses the jumper, and McHale with a rebound. Lewis to Bird. Bird hasn't missed from the floor yet. Hits a cutting Dennis Johnson. And the Celtics have committed 6 turnovers. We have 4:34 to go in the first quarter.
One of the reasons why they're trailing right now in the ballgame. You cannot turn it over that many times against any ball club.
A couple of steals. Grant had a steal. Manning had a steal, but the other 4 have been just mishandling the ball. Manning played against McHale. Well, Grant doesn't have the jumper falling early, that's for sure.
No, that was a major brick right there.
16-14 Clippers. 4 minutes to go first quarter. Lewis lobs it into McHale, who had the position. McHale missed the layup. Manning on the run. Look at him handle the ball in the open court. Norman misses the layup, but in comes Charles Smith. Good-looking Clippers team.
Well, again, this is a young team with a lot of physical talent. You just saw an example of it right there on the part of Danny Manning and Charles Smith both.
Bird, his first miss. McHale missed the tip-in again. Rick, it looks to me as though Boston just didn't get their wake-up call. Boston playing without much concentration, missing layups, turning the ball over. Harper knifes to the hoop, but McHale got a piece of it. Harper takes it back inside.
They're just out hustling him right now. The Celtics just a little bit slow, really not in sync. And you're right, Bob. They're just not playing the way that Jimmy Rogers would like to see him. It was almost like a carryover where they blew that game in the fourth quarter against Philadelphia.
Bird hit his first 4, missed the last 2. Harper for 3. Rebound Parrish.
See, that's again another not a good shot. That's not his range, and that's just being a little impatient. Got a 6-point lead. This is the time to go hammer it inside, get another good basket, go to the hole.
Speaking of hammer, Joe Klein's about to come into the ball game for Boston. From 18 feet, Dennis Johnson. McHale with a rebound. Going to be a loose ball foul.
Yeah, he got it by pushing off. That time they caught him.
We're going to get Joe Klein into the ball game for Boston, try to help with that rebounding a bit. Right now, Clippers lead it by 6, 2:40 to go, first quarter. Clippers with a 6-point lead, 2:40 to go, quarter number 1. Bob Neal, Rick Barry with you from the Sports Arena in Los Angeles.
And part of the reason they got this lead in plays like this, McHale misses an uncontested layup basically inside, used the right hand. A good save by Charles Smith, and Danny Manning off to the races, and he's going to show you why it's incredible. A man almost 6 feet 11 inches tall, able to handle the ball like that. Look at that behind the back pass with the left hand. Norman can't get the shot to drop in as he goes back the other way. Lewis gets the hand on it, but nobody screens off Charles Smith, who was the guy, if you remember, that saved the ball down the other end of the court. This is the type of hustle that Don Casey is so really pleased about, that this team is playing this type of basketball at home, and he's trying to get them to try and learn how to do that on the road as well.
Take a look at some of the scores from around the league. New Jersey with a lead over Washington in the second quarter. Also second quarter, San Antonio out in front of Charlotte. And the Knicks 1 point ahead of their ball game. We'll keep you posted on all the NBA scores tonight. First time I've looked at the shot clock, it's down to 10 seconds. There hasn't been much going with the shot clock. These teams have been getting the ball up earlier. Boston, by the way, missed 8 of their last 9 shot attempts. The lob to McHale. Spins inside over Norman. First basket of the night for Kevin. Clippers by 4, 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Garrick in at the guard. Tom Garrick. And Harper will go to the line, fouled by Reggie Lewis.
Well, that's what I like to see a player do, though. Use the screen. If a player sets a screen for you, be smart enough to use it. Don't just let him stand out there and let it go to waste. That time, Harper used it beautifully.
Harper, by the way, wanted to send a message to all his buddies in Cleveland. Said hope they enjoy the snow shovel. He's enjoying the shoveling all the sun off his driveway here in Los Angeles.
A lot easier on the back.
Clippers 22-16. Less than 2 minutes to go first quarter. Reggie Lewis in traffic. Got his own ball after it was blocked. Very poor judgment on the shot. Tried to shoot it while being double teamed, but got it back and the hoop. Harper off the baseline screen. Punched away by Lewis. 15 on the shot clock for the Clippers. Into Benjamin against Klein. Benoit Benjamin. Bird on the cut. And the nice finesse with the left hand. Bird has 10 points. Only 11 in the entire game last outing for Bird. Has 10 here in the first quarter. Manning over McHale. Good defense by Kevin.
That's where Kevin plays his best defense. You want to take him out on the floor further.
Johnson setting it up, looking for Bird, who has a mismatch, draws the double team, but nice defense, and Manning came in there to make the play again. Harper shovels it to Benjamin, stripped out of bounds. There'll be a foul against Boston.
But the Clippers keep pushing it up the court. They know that this is the strategy that's going to work best for them. Keep going at the Celtics as much as you can. Basically, most teams playing against Boston prefer to do that.
Gamble checking in for the Celtics. That foul, by the way, was on Joe Klein. As Dennis Johnson gets arrested. And Joe Wolf checking into the ball game also for the Clippers for Ken Norman.
Well, Danny Manning showed you a couple of good defensive efforts, something obviously that he learned in Kansas playing under the tutelage of Larry Brown, who prides himself in having his teams play tough defense, and indicative of the fact that when he gets some talent, he can put a winner on the court, as evidenced by what San Antonio is doing this season.
And you saw that Boston has also checked in with Michael Smith out of BYU, their #1 draft choice. Michael started the season hurt, hasn't played much, getting himself back into playing shape.
I should point out, too, that Roy Williams carried that tradition over, as evidenced by what Kansas is doing this year.
No kidding. The surprise of the NCAA, no question, early on. There's a foul against Los Angeles as McHale had tried to hit the cutter. That'll be on Harper, his first. Gamble out of Iowa, his third year, handling the ball. Shot clock down to 6 seconds. Boston appearing somewhat lost, so Lewis just takes it to the hoop, gets the basket, and draws the foul.
Well, just a terrific individual effort here as the clock's running down. There you just drew the ball right over. The defense didn't react. That was Harper, and there was a clear path as nobody was there defensively. Benjamin late coming over to help from the weak side, but that was just bad defense by Ron Harper as he got caught flat-footed.
Jimmy Rogers continues to look for the right combination off the bench. Did the Lakers game recently. Never did see this combination in there for Boston of Michael Smith, Lewis, Klein, McHale.
Well, Smith hasn't really seen very many minutes. He's been really badgered pretty good in the press and hammered as far as his production, and talking about what a wasted draft pick it's been for Boston. And it's tough, though, sometimes, you know, as I said so many times before, you can only learn so much sitting and watching. You really got to get out and play a little bit. But, of course, you have to earn the right to play. And obviously he hasn't really shown Jimmy Rogers you know, enough to be getting that kind of quality playing time. That's why I'm surprised really to see him, you know, in the ball game right now, although it may only be just for that little break before the quarter.
Less than 3 seconds remaining as Charles Smith, the other Charles Smith, this one out of Georgetown, checks in. McHale just going to throw it length of the court. And at the end of one, the Clippers lead it by 3. Arena now in Los Angeles, and of course every time we come out here to do a game, whether it's at the Forum or the Sports Arena, the celebrities are out. I wonder how Tommy did with the diet over the holidays.
He's doing great. He looks good. Looks good.
Chewing sugarless gum there. And back to the game. 26-23, Clippers leading by 3, beginning of the second quarter. 7 on the clock. McHale's turnaround doesn't go, and the pushing foul will be against Boston.
I believe on Smith. Michael Smith. There's 3 Smiths that are on these rosters.
2 Charles Smith. Of course, Charles Smith from Pittsburgh, Charles Smith from Georgetown. They played against each other in college. And Michael Smith from BYU, the Celtics' #1 draft choice. Joe Wolf with the turnaround jump hook. Wolf's been struggling. His shooting percentage very low this past week. Line misses. Wolf rebounds. Manning gets the pass from Grant.
And a beautiful pass indeed. Threw it at precisely the correct moment.
Rebound Benjamin. Gary Grant averaging 9.5 assists per game. He's in the top 10 in the NBA. 8 on the shot clock for the Clippers. Garrick to Benjamin, back out here to Grant. He'll go for 3. Over Gamble, missing everything. Well, he's excellent with steals, good with assists, but tonight not hitting from the perimeter.
And it's obvious from what we've seen so far in this ballgame, the Clippers really don't have a bona fide long-distance threat.
Which is one of the reasons they like to get that transition game going. Lewis from 17. Boston not shooting that well early, but McHale gets the stick back basket. Kevin has 4 points.
Might be a good idea to screen that fella off.
That's what Don Casey's thinking. Manning from the corner, rebound Lewis. He loves the open court too. Traveled with the ball. Couldn't decide where to go with it. He was going to go right, caught Michael Smith out of the corner of his eye and turned it over.
And that's what Don was saying, that mistake like that, not screening off McHale. Those are the type of mistakes that this team makes because of their inexperience. He said sometimes it's so difficult to sit there and watch. And he said, but hey, they're playing hard and they are improving.
Boston 8 turnovers, trailing by 3. Lewis with a rebound. And he's fouled by Manning in the backcourt. Larry Bird resting for the Boston Celtics. Bird came in, hit his first 4 baskets, missed a couple, then another one. Bird has 10. Manning has 2 fouls. Smith from the perimeter. Well, Smith. Smith 6'10", 225 pounds. Grant inside. Manning goes down. Everybody holds their breath. He's all right.
I'll tell you, watch Smith standing next to Danny Manning. Now, Danny Manning is listed at 6'10", and if they're both 6'10", then I really am Santa Claus, because Danny towers overhead.
You look like Santa Claus. Now, you've got your Christmas red trousers, your Christmas green jacket.
I mean, in the Christmas season, time to be festive. My favorite time of the year.
Yeah, we'll have to show the folks this picture. McHale with 10 on the shot clock against Joe Wolf. He's just going to back it in and turn around from 14. 6 points for McHale. Boston has regained the lead, 29-28. They had trailed by 6. Gamble just couldn't control it.
Foul on Benjamin as he got a little tired of being banged by Joe Klein and threw up his right arm and banged Klein back. We'll watch him banging inside in the middle. You'll watch the foul come in. Benjamin to left of your screen. There's pushing, and then the push with the right arm, and that's where the foul was.
Celtics by 1, 8:43 to go first half. Dennis Johnson and Gamble in the backcourt for the Celtics, with Klein, McHale, and Smith up front. Michael Smith looks to McHale against Norman. They want to take advantage of his height, and does.
Yeah, so they're going to try and play straight up on those type of situations, but I don't think that Don really wanted to have Norman on him. He preferred to have had Charles Smith on him, and when those type of things are starting to happen, McHale's getting hot, they're going to have to start sending somebody else at Kevin.
McHale has 6 in the quarter, 8 overall. 7 seconds, 6 on the shot clock. Inside to Smith. Nice pass from, was that Benjamin?
Yes, but good heads-up play that time because they realized the mismatch was there, and instead of trying to force up a shot, they spotted it and took advantage of it.
Benjamin, Norman, and Charles Smith up front now for the Clippers. McHale punched it away with the long arms. 13 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, now they say that Smith touched it last, but that was the matchup that he wanted, Charles Smith on Kevin McHale.
Michael Smith with the runner. That didn't have much chance. Offside rebound. First basket of the game for Kevin Gamble. He's out of Iowa.
And the Celtics have gotten themselves back in the lead with Larry Bird and Robert Parrish getting considerable rest.
Off the baseline screen, Harper will try to take it inside. Gamble with another rebound. He's running with Smith. Boston on an 11-2 run. They trailed by 6 at the beginning of the second quarter. Inside to Klein. Got Benjamin airborne and then got the hoop. Nice play by Joe Klein.
Well, you get in that paratrooper club, Bob. You know, how often do we see the player pay his dues, get burned?
Boston with their biggest lead of the game, a lead of 5, 7:05 to go in the first half, and it's been bench strength. They trail by 6 at the quarter, now lead it by 5 with 7:05 to go. Hope you'll join us on New Year's Eve. Tim Foley will be meeting me in Tucson, Arizona for the inaugural Copper Bowl. North Carolina State and Arizona in Tucson begins at 8 o'clock Eastern time on our sister station, TBS, the Superstation.
And Bob, well, there's some halftime scores coming up for you. You can watch those. We just mentioned the fact that one of the reasons that I think the Los Angeles Clippers have lost that lead, and I think it's in direct relation to what we talked about them trying to get a running game going. They had 6 breaks in the first period for 10 points to only 1 break for 2 points for Boston. With almost 5 minutes gone here in the second quarter, they have yet to get a fast break opportunity.
The Celtics lead it by 5, 35-30. By the way, Craig Sager will have all the highlights for you at halftime. Now the Celtics on the run. Dennis Johnson didn't have anybody to get it to, and that was ugly.
Well, Dennis made a bad
I know
decision.
of no other selection of words.
He doesn't usually make a bad decision like that, but the man he should have hit was Gamble, who was the lead person, instead of throwing it to Pinckney, who was the trailer. You don't really want a guy like Ed Pinckney having to handle the ball out on the court.
Looked over for Ainge or Bird, and it was neither.
Yeah, some strange faces were trailing them or running around the court.
Who are these guys? Pinckney came in the trade with Sacramento for Ainge, along with Klein. Boston only 3 of 6 from the line thus far tonight.
Michael Smith, though, getting some extended playing time here. That'll do wonders for his confidence. Nothing like being out in that court to make you feel good about yourself.
Speaking of feeling good, you love this building. The Lakers used to play here in the 60s.
Yeah, they did. I used to love playing in the sports arena. I always played better here than I ever did at the Forum.
Ten on the shot clock for the Clippers. Michael Smith against Ken Norman. Pushed him out of bounds.
Now, see, he did everything he had to do until the last moment. He worked hard. He had good position on his defense. The man went up to shoot. His job was done at that point. Now screen him off the boards. Instead, he commits the foul when the man will watch it. Good defense. Pretty good position right here. Shuts him off. Stay right there. Now just stay there. Now let him shoot. Boom. Now he goes and he pushes his arm forward and shoots it. And he pushes him when he's shooting the ball. Hey, just let him go up, screen him off, and that's an excellent effort.
Michael Smith from BYU. And Larry Bird wants to get back into the game.
Well, Michael did have extended playing time.
He'll sit down, and Bird checks back in. Larry Bird getting his first action in this quarter. Hasn't scored in the quarter, with 10 points in the first. Ken Norman not lighting it up from the free throw line this year. 36-30, Celtics with their biggest lead. So now the Celtics have Gamble and Dennis Johnson in the backcourt with Pinckney, Parrish, and Bird up front. Bird wide open. He'll step back for 3. Norman on the break. Grant will control it. Charles Smith over Bird. Boston by 4. 5:48 to go in the first half from the Sports Arena in Los Angeles. Early game on the West Coast, this game started. The tip-off was about 6-7 minutes after 5 o'clock. People are just now settling into their seats after getting out of the Los Angeles rush hour.
Some are probably still in it.
That's for sure. 6 on the shot clock and nothing going right. 10 Boston turnovers. Harper from Grant.
And again, a great example of the great athletic ability of some of these players. But that last pass is a perfect example of knowing where the ball is. Gamble got hit right in the head with that pass because he had no idea the pass was coming.
Dennis Johnson from the perimeter. Bird sneaks in for the rebound. He'll take it right back up. Not get the roll, though, and Parrish is there. Norman to Grant. Stripped away by Gamble. He'll get it back from Bird, and he'll take it all the way past Benjamin, who commits the foul. Well, Boston had led it by 6. It's now down to 2 points. Second personal on Benoit Benjamin. Gamble at the free throw line.
Well, he made up for it. He messed up that one play by not being aware and getting hit in the head. Then he made a good defensive play down the other end and gets rewarded by getting to the free throw line, although he certainly took a pretty good foul from Benjamin to get there.
The conclusion of tonight's game, Rick and I will be selecting the Miller Lite player of the game. Gamble gets them both.
Nice to run into Josh Rosenfeld here at the game, former Laker PR guy.
One of the best in the business, too. Wish him well in his future endeavors. Celtics lead it now by 4. Grant has it stripped away.
Well, they called the foul, and it's going to be on Dennis Johnson, and Dennis actually committed one out further, and he got 2 for 1 that time. We'll watch the play again. And there's the first move. Dennis reaches in, kind of gives him a little push there. Now he trails from behind, and then he hit the ball, and so he only committed the first foul, so they made up for it by calling the first foul, because that was a good defensive play on the second one. Nothing but ball on that good camera work we saw there.
What's fair is fair. Gary Grant. See his 9.5 assists, and he rebounds well for a point guard, 5 per game. Celtics by 2. Bird has yet to score in the second quarter, had 10 points in the first period. They've got Charles Smith on Bird. Shot clock to 6. Gamble into the paint. Rebound Benoit Benjamin. Grant has Harper on the right wing.
And now the Clippers are back in the ball game again because they're getting the break opportunity, something that they were a little bit lax in the first part of the second period.
Ron Harper has 8 points. Gary Grant 4 assists early in this game. And it's tied. Gamble wanted Parrish, but Benoit Benjamin playing good defense down there. 3 seconds.
Well, Benoit working very hard against Robert Parrish, showing the type of aggressiveness they would like to see a little bit more of. 11 turnovers now for Boston. Now watch Benjamin working on the defense. Here he gives him a little bump. Now watch him get in front to try and deny the pass. Excellent defense. Now he swings over Parrish there. He still bumps him, giving him another little bump. Robert never got out of the lane. 3 seconds. Pretty good effort.
Tied at 38. Harper will back it out with 10 seconds on the shot clock for the Clippers. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Grant had sneaked inside past Dennis Johnson. Johnson wanted the offensive foul, said he was hooked. Nevertheless, the Clippers have the lead. Grant has 12 points. Johnson answers, goes to the reverse, doesn't get it, but does get the foul call. It's going to be on Charles Smith.
And a technical foul going to be on Dennis Johnson. He's still upset about the play down the other end.
McHale checks back in for Boston. 3:14 to go in the first half. The technical will be shot by Ron Harper. See Bob Cousy in the background of the picture there. He's a local broadcaster for the Boston Celtics behind Jimmy Rogers. Celtics on a 3-game West Coast swing.
Well, they're always out during Christmas time. Arsenio Hall in attendance, trying to camouflage himself here a little bit.
Dennis Johnson to the line. Clippers lead it by 3, now by 2. Dennis Johnson with only 2 points in the game. Both have come from the free throw line. Dennis Johnson in the Lakers game we did on the 15th of December had an outstanding game from the perimeter, but the Lakers went ahead to beat Boston in the Garden. I still think the Lakers are the best team in the NBA right now. Do you agree?
Well, they're playing outstanding basketball, no question about it, Bob. I still think that the Lakers and Detroit are the teams to beat in their respective conferences. Until somebody does that, you have to really go with them. And there are quite a few teams capable of it.
Clippers by 1, 3:04 to go first half. Benoit Benjamin backing in on Parrish. McHale kept it alive, and Johnson collects the ball and hits Bird, who has not scored in this period. McHale from 18. Kevin McHale now with 10 points. Boston by 1. Charles Smith. Smith has 10. There's a player with everything you like. He can play a lot of positions, and he has tremendous attitude, good work habit. He's going to be a long-time NBA player. Charles
no
Smith.
question about it. I liked him back in '86 in the World Championships when I first had seen him.
Lewis open as Boston reverses, but can't hit from the perimeter. Lewis takes it right inside. He'll get this one to fall. Reggie Lewis.
That's a tough break for the Clippers. Benjamin had inside position, just mistimed his jump.
Ron Harper. Harper lighting it up here tonight. He has 11.
Well, you give him those opportunities in the open court, and that's when he's at his best.
Reggie Williams involved in that trade with Cleveland. Reggie Williams still struggling there. He was struggling here, particularly in terms of his offense. Bird open from 18. First points of the quarter for Larry, has 12 in the game. Harper back quickly with a basket and the foul. .141 to go in the half, and the Clippers have taken a 1-point lead. Los Angeles Clippers have regained the lead and will go to the free throw line with 1:41 to go. And Boston's backcourt has really been struggling. Maybe they need some help from the chicken. There's a quintet.
Well, the chicken and the chicklets, I guess, or whatever you want to call them. Little baby chicks. Going to give the heebie-jeebies to the Boston Celtics here.
You know, I was just thinking, Rick, we're at the sports arena. The Lakers are playing later tonight here in town at 7:30 LA time against Sacramento. I don't know, you know, they're always looking at the celebrities at the Forum. A lot of them here tonight. It makes you wonder if the Clippers get it going, if they couldn't really give the Lakers a run for their money in terms of showbiz.
Well, I said earlier, I told you this, Bob, I think within 3 years, this is liable to be the team of Los Angeles. Of course, as long as Magic hangs around a couple of those other guys they got named Worthy and what have you, that's still pretty tough.
Bird from long range knew that one missed, tried to follow it, but here come the Clippers. Norman back to Charles Smith for the jam. 12 points for Smith.
Well, and the success of the Clippers tonight has been directly proportionate to the number of times we're able to get down the court for transition and fast break opportunities.
There's Bird, came off the baseline screen, goes to the left hand. Bird has 14 now.
Well, he's had limited minutes here in the second quarter, and he's only taken 4 shots, and he's 2 for 4, so still pretty good.
Harper against Lewis, stripped away. Now Boston runs. Dennis Johnson. McHale is open at the free throw line. Johnson looking for his first field goal of the night and gets it. That's the first field goal by either of the Boston starting guards. Tied at 50. Less than half a minute to go in the first half. We thought it'd be a competitive matchup, and it is that. In fact, Parrish with the rebound. That's 9 rebounds. Probably heard the voice of our statistician, Dennis Mnuchin. He does such a great job for us out on our West Coast games. Under 10 seconds in the quarter. Shot clock's off. We've got a hold away from the ball. Bird was trying to sneak around, and Ken Norman grabbed him.
That'll be the penalty right now, as Bird will go to the free throw line, and still plenty of time for the Clippers to get the final shot and perhaps go into halftime tied, or I wouldn't expect a 3-point shot from them. So, and I'm anticipating, of course, that Larry's going to knock down these 2 free throws.
Clippers have never defeated Boston here, and you see the smile on Larry Bird's face. The chicken has got some posters raised in the end zone. I hope we can see it right underneath the goal post. But Larry Bird showing the true superstar. How'd you like to? There you go.
That's a real test of concentration there.
Yeah, Larry says, in your face. Nice work for Larry Bird. Can we see that shot again? 6.5 seconds to go in the half. This program authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association solely for the entertainment of our audience. Not that easy for me to concentrate now either. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the NBA is prohibited.
Well, you got
now, that's a free throw shooter.
Yeah, but you got your poster girl meeting you tomorrow.
That's right. Melody is meeting me in Tucson as we prepare for the Copper Bowl.
Yeah, you're preparing for the Copper Bowl by going out to check out the Fazio Golf Course at one of the local establishments.
With some Arizona coaches.
Yes.
You do homework wherever you have to, Rick.
I know that's the way to do it. It really is.
Another 20-second timeout here to check on the matchups. Give me a time to remind you. We'll have more NBA action coming your way on TNT next Tuesday. Phoenix at the New York Knicks. Skip Carey, Doug Collins will have that telecast for you. Phoenix really struggling. The Knicks, one of those teams in the East that has a chance of unseating Detroit, along with Chicago and a couple others.
And playing very well. Patrick Ewing having an exceptional season, and the team believing in themselves, getting good production off the bench. Kenny Walker doing an outstanding job for them off the bench. And you've got Strickland. Yeah, this is definitely a team to be reckoned with this season, no question about it.
We were in Boston on December 15th for that Lakers game. The big story in the paper there was the rumored trade of McHale for Mark Jackson.
New York Knicks. I think the Knicks make a big mistake getting rid of Jackson.
Harper all the way, misses it, and Parrish gets the rebound, and the Celtics hold a 2-point lead at the half. Harper had his chance. He had a good first half. Harper ends with 14 points in the half. We'll be joining Craig Sager in our studios shortly. And Boston's bench with 25 points, Rick.
Yes, Bob, and if the Clippers expect to win this ball game, they're going to have to do a lot more breaking. They didn't do it in the second period in the beginning part of it. They had a lead. They lost that lead. Then they were able to get 5 break opportunities, get 6 points off of that to get back in this ball game. You can see the points they've gotten off of the opportunities, 16-4 in favor of the Clippers. They must at least do that or a little bit better. Boston has to be a little bit more careful with the ball. The Clippers very good in that department, and there's what Bob pointed out. Danny Manning, all 4 points to the Clippers. The Boston bench very productive here this evening.
McHale had 10, Lewis 7, and Gamble 4 of those Boston 25. Celtics lead it by 2. Second half underway. Inside to Pinckney. Back to Johnson, to Jim Paxson, who was scoreless in the first half. Parrish against Benjamin. And Robert Parrish also had only 1 field goal in the first half, and that's the 5th point of the game for Parrish. He was very quiet. Ken Norman over Bird. Smith was pushed off. He got the ball anyway, and Boston picks up the foul. And it's on Pinckney, his first. Grant had 5 assists in the first half to go with his 12 points. Norman will try this one over Bird. He doesn't get it either.
Not his specialty.
Celtics can build a 6-point lead. Their largest lead in the first half was 8. Tried to hit Pinckney out of bounds. Belongs to L.A.
And Ed a little bit upset, so was Bird, because they felt that Pinckney was held as he made the cut to the basket.
Nice inside move. Spinning around Pinckney. 254's battling there. It's Charles Smith. That was a big league play.
It was, and what he did is a good job of holding Pinckney out of position to enable him to make the move.
Boston by 2. Opening moments, third quarter. Bird's going to take it down the lane for the runner. Missing badly. Pinckney didn't see it. Out of bounds, Clippers ball.
Yeah, well, Larry knew that he couldn't get the rebound. He knew where the ball was, and he tried to tip it over to Ed, but Ed was making a cut to the middle, and the ball was tipped just a little bit behind him.
In the first half, Pinckney had 3 points, 1 field goal and a free throw. McHale had 10 in place of him. Fouls on Jim Paxson. His first of the game. Nobody in foul trouble. No one with more than 2 fouls on either team. Clippers can tie. Ken Norman from Illinois Charles Smith from Pittsburgh, Benoit Benjamin from Creighton up front for the Clippers. Harper of Miami of Ohio, more recently of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Gary Grant of Michigan on the floor now for the Clippers. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Look at a move by Smith. And the inside pass, but Pinckney was there to keep it alive for Boston. Smith hustling back to the hoop with a basket. He couldn't get it to go. Norman off of Jim Paxson.
But Charles Smith shows you what we were talking about, how he can face up and put it down on the deck and go to the basket. An exceptional move, just wasn't quite able to finish it off there as he made the good dish off. But that bounce killed Benoit as he couldn't handle it, and that gave Parrish time to recover and make the block. And then here comes Smith again, and still he can't get it to drop in as he didn't use the glass that time, and a good save by Norman. Back to live action. Benjamin with a jump hook from the middle scores.
Benoit Benjamin with 6 points in the game. It's tied at 54, 9:51 to go third quarter. Once again, relentless pursuit by this young Clippers team. It wasn't pretty, but they were there until they got the job done. Bird Cole to start the half. At the half, Larry Bird had 16 points. Gary Grant has 14 now. And the Clippers have regained the lead. 13 lead changes in this game. Paxson off the baseline screen, open for his first field goal of the night, Jim Paxson. What a move by Harper. But they're going to call him for the offensive foul. He got the left arm out there to clear, who was it, Larry Bird into the lap of Arsenio Hall.
Yeah, that was, but it was still a spectacular play. Look at that quick move to the baseline. Bird comes over to help. Watch the left arm. So, well, I'll tell you, he didn't clear out. Larry went up in the air, got bumped, came down, lost his balance, and Larry did a good acting job. That was not a clear out by Ron Harper. A spectacular play.
Paxson goes hard to the hoop, gets the basket, and draws the foul. And that is 4 points for Jim Paxson, and Charles Smith picks up the personal, his second.
Well, Paxson, as you see, got Harper coming out a little bit. He gave him the baseline. Smith, instead of coming over and shutting the baseline off, immediately drifted, turned his body sideways, and wound up picking up the foul as Paxson was smart enough to initiate some contact.
This is Jim's 11th year in the NBA. John's brother, John in Chicago from Notre Dame, Jim here with Boston from Dayton.
Of course, their father, a former pro player.
Celtics by 2. Pinckney reaches over the top, commits the foul. That's his second.
And that's 14 fouls now, I believe, against the Boston Celtics with 8:41 to go here in this quarter. A big advantage if the Clippers can capitalize on it. Now it's only the third team foul. They obviously put the number up as soon as the whistle blew. Kick ball, that'll be a new 24-second clock.
Along with Rick Barry, Bob Neal with you from the Sports Arena in Los Angeles, California. Close one. Celtics lead it by 2. Grant wanted to shoot that one. He just had to do it. Benjamin rebounds from out of position over Parrish. Paxson was there. Almost over and back. Paxson from 18 from Dennis Johnson. Can't get it to go. Jim Paxson and Dennis Johnson really struggling from the floor. The Boston starting guards just can't get it done tonight. It's been the bench guards who have scored what they have scored for the Boston Celtics in this game. Clippers can tie on this possession. Boy, Dennis Johnson keeping Grant out of the middle. Grant sneaked in when Johnson went over to double team Charles Smith, and Smith delivered.
And that brought Arsenio Hall out of his seat. It happened right in front of him. That was a spectacular move on the part of Grant. We've already seen 4 of their players make such tremendous athletic moves. I mean, once these youngsters get more experience, they're going to be something to watch.
7 on the shot clock. The lob from Johnson to Parrish. Parrish with 7 now. Grant. Is he aggressive? Gary Grant took it right past Bird, went to his left hand, and has 18 in this game. Don Casey was saying sometimes Gary gets a little out of control, but then haven't I heard Chuck Daly say that about Isaiah Thomas? You almost have to live on the edge, I guess, if you're going to be that kind of point guard. Tied at 60. Bird for 3. His first points of the third period. Larry Bird has a, is there such a thing, a quiet 19. Clippers back so quickly, draw the foul. Norman will go to the line. And it's going to be on Larry Bird. That's his first personal, and a timeout on the floor with the Celtics up by 3 and the Clippers on the way to the line. If you're in L.A.
And of course, that wasn't a real NBA official, or the chicken is out of here.
Double tech.
Celtics leading at 63-60 with 6:56 to go.
In the third quarter, you see the scoring leaders in this ball game balance from the backcourt. Boston scoring inside, although many of Bird's have come from the perimeter. Larry Bird committed the foul on his way to the timeout, and Ken Norman will go to the free throw line. Bird has only one personal in the game. Ken Norman's playing with tendonitis in his right knee. He's been bothered the last few games. But he's been shooting well from the field, too, about 53%. Productive player from Illinois.
Yeah, but that 53% could be a little bit misleading.
Nevertheless,
it's not from the perimeter.
Speaking of perimeter percentage, up among the leaders in the NBA in field goal percentage is Jim Paxson's brother John at Chicago. He's really drilling it from outside this year.
One of the reasons why they're leading in their Midwest Division, Central Division, excuse me.
Took Boston 10 seconds to get the ball over the timeline with the Clipper pressure. Celtics up by 1. Lob into McHale. Tipped away by Charles Smith. And Harper. Nice to the hoop. Ron Harper. He has 16.
Well, good defense will create those opportunities for you, and they certainly have the people who can finish. Grant, Harper, Smith, Norman.
They'll go to McHale again. This time the jump hook. This game's had 15 lead changes, 11 ties. It's been as close as everyone thought it would be. Clippers playing well at home. Boston struggling on the road. Smith is fouled by McHale. That's becoming a nice matchup in this ball game tonight. We talked at the beginning of the game, Rick, about the difficulty in matching up with McHale. McHale's having his problems with Charles Smith.
Well, Charles Smith will give a lot of people problems. He has the ability to post up, as you just saw on that play. Here he gets it inside, makes the move, little fake. Had Kevin out of position, waited a little too long, then had to shoot it on the way down. Kevin played pretty darn good defense there, but they say he bumped him down low. But Charles also has the versatility that Kevin doesn't have, in that he can go outside, face up, and put it on the floor, as we saw him do a little bit earlier. An outstanding talent, Charles Smith.
Made the all-rookie team after coming off the Olympic performance. And Charles Smith said he was rewarded for being a good guy. He went to Pittsburgh as a forward, had to be called into duty as a center at Pitt, and that's where he was able to really develop a post-up game, which he didn't have coming out of high school. Celtics by 1. 5:43 to go, third quarter. Back to McHale again.
He can't let Kevin come across on the weak side and get that kind of position down low. That's his biggest fault right now. He's not fighting McHale for position.
McHale with 14 from the bench. Harper's three-pointer doesn't go, and Bird has him running. Had Lewis wide open and didn't see him. Parrish gets it to Gamble and draws the foul from Ken Norman. Bird, now Kevin McHale telling Bird, you had a man open on the wing.
What Larry did, Bob, is that he looked to both sides and was checking to see where the defense was, and when he did that, he had turned his head to down court where he had the open man.
Kevin and Larry and Robert Parrish and Dennis Johnson will talk to each other firmly, as McHale did then. Heard the rumors in the Boston press that unidentified players on the anonymous Boston Celtics players, I never like to really re-quote that, but it's in the press already, saying that Larry Bird used to be the glue that holds the team together, and now he's pulling the team apart. I don't buy that for a second, personally. I don't. Particularly if they're anonymous. Well, he's been disagreeing with Jimmy Rogers publicly, and said that he respects Jimmy Rogers, but he doesn't like this extra pass perimeter rotation of the ball that Rogers is trying to coach the Celtics team into.
You see Larry with the foul. He was holding on with the right hand, plus he hit him on the forearm on that particular shot. Well, but Larry's always been known to speak his mind, and that doesn't mean that he didn't say something to Jimmy about it. He probably had said something to Jimmy before he said something to the press, and I talked with Jimmy about it before the ball game, and he said there's really nothing to it, and obviously they're going to have to live with it, but this is a veteran team. They've been around, and they expect those type of things, especially from the writers who try to deal in sensationalism. They like nothing better than to get a real hot, juicy story on the Celtics.
Celtics up by 3 here, 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Plus, remember, it's a Celtics team in transition. That always brings controversy. New players, new styles. Hale can't handle the pass. 3-on-2. Grant behind the back.
Now, why would he want to do that? He wanted to give the ball to Benjamin, who was still 15 feet almost from the basket behind his back. He had Harper on the right wing. Not a good decision, and Harper was looking. Here's Harper. Now, he's going right here. Harper now, because Bird was backpedaling, could have never stopped him. He throws a behind-the-back pass to a trailing Benjamin. Not a good choice at all.
Bird, with a couple of fouls, could have picked up a third.
He just did right there, I believe.
Exactly. Would have been a fourth.
Right, and turnovers again hurting the Celtics, something that they got into trouble with early in this ball game when they got 6 of them before they could bat an eyelash, and now they just turned it over again.
15 in the game, and Danny Manning checks back in. 11 minutes in the first half for Manning. He had 4 points, ran the floor well, played defense well early on, but then the Celtics shut him down later in the first half. We keep talking about the Celtics struggling. They are leading in the game by 3, now 2. That's 15 for Charles Smith, and Klein will check in for Robert Parrish. Parrish not productive tonight, only 9 points. He has only 3 field goals. Klein, McHale, Gamble, Lewis, and Bird in there for Boston. Does Boston ever need a point guard? But then doesn't everybody?
Boston's actually played a number of years without really having one. Did pretty well, except that they're getting a little older now.
Lewis with the turnaround jump hook. Well, yeah, you can say that Dennis Johnson isn't a point guard, but
pretty good player.
Pretty good non-point guard when you go.
But that's where the young people with the great athleticism they have are creating a problem for him now.
Norman can't get the jumper to fall. Loose ball foul is going to be on the Clippers.
It'll be on Grant coming in.
That's number 2 on Gary Grant.
We can see about in the last 3-4 years, so many outstanding young players have come into this league with great skills and that backcourt position. It's very difficult now for the older Celtic players to stay with them.
Devin McHale got loose from Manning and has 16 now. Manning's open in the corner, but Grant's going to take it right down the pipe. Gary Grant, 20 points. He was the Michigan famous point guard before Rumeal Robinson. And to McHale. Look at from the weak side comes Harper for the block. Manning to Grant. Into the paint. Back to Norman. That's the Clipper break in action.
And defense is what ignited it, because it created the opportunity to get back before the Celtics were able to make the good transition move. They've had a number of those, and that certainly brings a bit of a smile to Don Casey's face.
3:16 to go in the third quarter. Gamble and Lewis in the backcourt for Boston. Manning defensive McHale. Lewis over Norman. Manning tripped up in the backcourt, and I'll tell you, when the Clippers start to run, you can really see the difference in the quickness. And the Boston bench that performed so well in the first half, struggling a bit here in the third quarter, but the Celtics continue to lead it by 1. The Sports Arena, Boston by 1 point. The Wendy's scoreboard. A lot of action in the NBA tonight. We'll keep you posted on all the action around the league, and we'll get to the Wendy's scores in just a moment as Manning goes to the free throw line to tie this game. Here are a few of those scores. New Jersey way out in front of Washington. San Antonio likewise. Larry Brown's got him playing well at San Antonio. That's a road lead also at Charlotte. We'll have more scores for you. Clippers have regained the lead.
Into McHale again. Manning stripped it away with 7 on the shot clock.
And they were lucky that time that Danny got his hand on it, because the weak side defense a little slow getting over to help out on that lob pass, and McHale would have had an easy layup had he been able to keep control of the ball.
Knicks, Indiana leading Orlando at Indianapolis. Lewis runner won't go, and Danny Manning very active. Bird's on the bench for Boston. Manning, nice feed to Harper for the jam. So Manning runs the floor so well.
What an advantage to have a big man who can get the rebound and take it out and lead the break.
These Clipper fans, the NBA fans, have not had a chance to see the real Danny Manning. You're still not seeing him. He's still playing his way back. Manning commits the foul that time.
Yeah, Danny's not in full playing shape right now, but let's watch this. Remember, this is a man who is 6 feet 10 inches tall, and he's out there leading the break. Waits till he sees the commitment on the part of the man in the middle, with Smith, and there is Harper taking it home for the easy 2. Another break opportunity for the Clippers. That's now 6 opportunities, 8 points they've gotten off the break in this quarter.
And they've regained the lead, 76-73 with 2:12 to go. We said at the beginning of the game, the more NBA you see, the more you know this doesn't require brain surgery. Few defensive rebounds or turnovers. You get a running game going, and this is the way to beat the Celtics.
It's a way to beat a lot of teams, Bob, because what you do is you give these great athletes an opportunity to get into the open court situation where they can do the instinctive and things that they've done all their life growing up playing.
Nice pass inside, and Charles Smith got McHale airborne. Mike Mathis said count the basket. McHale said no, he put it on the floor, no continuation. Nevertheless, it's a 3-point opportunity for Charles Smith.
Yeah, that brought the crowd to its feet, including Arsenio under the basket. Here's the fake, paratrooper club, boom. Now he's the foul, then he goes up and gets the dunk and the foul. Now what McHale was claiming was that the foul occurred before and then no continuation. Boom, he hit him now, but the bounce came beforehand. So that's why the continuation was in effect. He actually had bounced it before McHale made the contact.
And Mike Mathis with a very good call. Clippers build a 5-point lead with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Boston led it by 2 at the half. Klein inside. Benoit Benjamin in there for defense. McHale from 16. Kevin McHale has 18 points in this ball game. That's above his season average, which is 17 and change.
Smith is just manhandling inside on Manning. I can't believe they let all that go.
Manning got it to Benjamin for the jam. This Boston mix on the floor right now cannot match up with talent in any way with this group of Clippers on the floor. Lewis goes to the left hand for the basket. Gamble knocks it out of bounds. 23 seconds on the shot clock for the Clippers.
But they can run fairly well, and I think that's what Jimmy Rogers is hoping. This is the team that got him back in the ball game in the second period, basically.
Foul away from the ball.
Well, I tell you what Michael Smith was doing to Manning last trip down the court. He would have got arrested if he was out in the streets in L.A. doing that.
Manning will go to the free throw line. That's 2 personals on Joe Klein, who got called for at that time. Klein's just asked Michael Smith, how do you get away with it?
I was really surprised. I mean, especially a player with the reputation of Manning and Smith being a rookie. Normally they don't get that type of break. But it was a rookie official who was underneath.
Manning gets them both, has 8 points in the game. Clippers by 5 with under a minute to go, third quarter, from the Sports Arena in Los Angeles. McHale was trying to get inside between Charles Smith and Harper.
And Charles called the foul.
That's the third one on Charles Smith. Quiet crowd here. It was a 5 o'clock Pacific time start. Crowd late arriving, and it's a very close game, but the crowd, except for a couple of Clipper breaks, has been pretty quiet.
You can hear the cheers there. There are a lot of Boston fans in.
Remember, when you see the Boston bench scoring, to put it in perspective, always included in that, of course, this year is Kevin McHale. McHale has 20 of those 39.
Nice shot by Danny Manning over the rookie Smith.
Hale against Charles Smith with 8 on the shot clock. Hale tried about 6 moves, couldn't do anything with it. 5 on the clock, and Lewis throws up a prayer. He had more time. Smith sneaks in for the rebound and the stick back. Michael Smith with 4 points in the game now.
That was good defense by Smith that time because he denied the low place to Kevin, got him out on the court where he could do a much better job on it.
Harper is going to have to shoot it over Klein from long range. Clippers trail the Celtics by 2 at the half. After 3, LA leads it by 3. Crowd at the Sports Arena, and it's 7:30 LA time. The Lakers are playing across town tonight against Sacramento, so there'll be 30,000 plus basketball fans watching these 2 games in Los Angeles tonight, where the NBA is alive and well. Thank you. Clippers by 3 to begin the final 12 minutes. Boston staying with her bench to open up this quarter. Manning with a jump hook. Hale and Bird with Klein, Gamble, and Lewis on the floor for Boston. Bird with 6 on the shot clock gets it down to Reggie Lewis over Harper. Nice play. Clippers by 1. Grant with the pull-up. Grant has 22.
That's where the threat of the penetration has such an effect because he had the defender falling backwards almost, was able to pull up for a nice medium distance jumper.
And Gamble forgot that he had pulled up his dribble. Didn't get any help when he didn't get it off to Lewis. McHale came too late and the turnover, and Boston now has committed 16 turnovers to 10 for Los Angeles. A couple of finals. New Jersey beat Washington, and San Antonio likewise to Charlotte. Grant down the lane. Manning keeps it alive. The jump hook. Look at the hustle. Grant threw it out of bounds off of Boston. It'll belong to the Clippers. There's youth at work, youth and talent.
Well, that's the type of hustle that the fans have been seeing here at the Sports Arena this year. As Danny can't get the jump hook to go, there's Charles Smith trying. Danny keeps it alive again. There goes Grant and Danny both over, and Grant takes it, throws it in, bounces off of Danny, and also hit Gamble, but Gamble didn't look like he was already out of bounds. That's why he was complaining.
Clippers are 9-4 here at the Sports Arena. They've won 5 in a row. They're going for 6 in a row tonight. Benjamin.
I would think Parrish is going to be back in this game pretty quickly. And also Dennis Johnson.
Benjamin has 10. Bird and McHale against Manning. Gary Grant. Bad pass that time. Missed Norman from behind, and Boston gets a break.
That was the time that he should have pulled up at the free throw line to survey the situation. Then he could have kept his dribble. If he didn't have the pass, then maybe go and penetrate. That time he penetrated in, threw it back at a bad angle.
Grant has 9 assists tonight, averaging 9.5 on the season. Bird posted against Harper, but they couldn't get him the ball. Reggie Lewis from the perimeter.
And that's the guy they need to really start to come through for him. He really had a spectacular season last year when Bird was out, and he really hasn't gotten back to playing the kind of basketball that he was playing last season. Of course, he was bothered with an injury.
Clippers by 3. Manning takes it down the lane right on McHale. Draws the foul. 4 on Kevin McHale.
Now they're saying it was a pass-off, not a shot. That's what Kevin McHale had gone over to the official to say, hey, he was passing the ball.
Danny Manning with a shrug.
Yeah, one of the few times that an appeal to the official.
Here comes Parrish, as you mentioned earlier, but
he goes in.
He goes in for McHale, which is a little bit of a surprise. Klein stays in the ball game along with Bird up front. Gamble and Lewis in the back, and the New York Knicks get Miami by 6. Look at Manning's drive to the hoop. He got fouled. He'll get the continuation.
Yeah, and again, they're taking advantage of the matchup situation. No way that Joe Klein can stay with Danny Manning out in the court. Look, he's already backing up. Now he gets his weight on the heels, and the quick step going to the left. Klein not quick enough to recover the foul and the basket.
This guy's a franchise player. I mean, obviously he was a #1 pick, and people thought that. After the knee injury, you wondered if he would have that move.
Well, he's so unselfish, Bob, and he's such a team player. And yet, in that last year at Kansas, he showed that he certainly could take the responsibility of taking a team on his shoulders and carrying him to great heights.
Clippers' biggest lead of the game by 6. Jimmy Rogers needs a timeout and gets one. 9:25 to go in the game. Danny Manning leading the Clippers back here. They trail by 2 at the half. They lead it by 6. Well, the Clippers with their biggest lead of the game, 92-86. We have more action coming your way on our sister station, TBS. We'll have the Hawks at Dallas tomorrow night. That'll start at 8:35 Eastern time. Then back to TNT on next Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern. Phoenix will be at Madison Square Garden. Dennis Johnson back into the ball game for the Celtics, along with Reggie Lewis, the #2 guard.
Reggie's starting to come through right now for Boston as Pinckney's come in because of the matchup. He's on Manning. Good move by Jimmy Rogers.
Pinckney, Parrish, and Bird up front with Lewis and Dennis Johnson. Look at Manning handle the ball. We're talking about his ball handling skills. He'll just try Pinckney out for size. His jump hook doesn't go. Parrish with the rebound. Parrish hasn't done so well scoring-wise tonight, but does have 12 boards. Bird gets the offensive rebound off the Lewis miss, and the Clippers now lead it only by 2.
Clippers can't just get into this, walk it up the court, and start to play half-court basketball. They still have to do the running that they were doing so effectively to get a lead.
Grant to Harper. Beautiful pass. Good defense by Parrish and Lewis will feed the break. He has Pinckney down deep, but can't see him. He gets it to Parrish. Gets his own rebound, but there's Benoit Benjamin. Grant from the perimeter. He has 24. Clippers by 4. 8 minutes to go in this ball game. It's going to be a good finish. Tough prediction. Just ask me about 1990. I'll give you my opinion about that too. Clippers foul. Dennis Johnson tried to battle through.
What about 1990?
I like the Lakers. Dennis Johnson from the perimeter. I only go with semi-sure things. Clippers by 2. 7:43 to go in this ball game. Grant from Harper. Manning there for the rebound, but the foul in the backcourt may be on Manning. It is. Manning has 4.
I don't think that shot by Grant was a good shot in this situation in the ball game. He's not that good from that distance, and to take it, it's not showing enough patience. You got to get a better shot than that in a close ball game.
I think you pointed that out about the Clippers. They are missing that perimeter shooter, the really good one, the John Paxson caliber. This game's tied, and Don Casey doesn't like what he sees from this Boston matchup with his Clippers team, and now we'll get a few more chess moves when we return with 7 minutes to go in the game. Celtics are tied at 94.
Well, it's the end of the year. I don't want you to get too cocky. You know?
Elgin Baylor, you saw his name highlighted there. Of course, the GM here with the Clippers. Jerry West across town. They're playing over there tonight at the Forum at 7:30 against Sacramento. The Kings are staying in our hotel, the Turner Broadcasting System hotel. Do we own that hotel?
I don't think so. No, I think Ted tried that once with the hotel.
That's right. He did the hotel thing. 7 minutes to go, and Gary Grant will inbound for the Clippers. Don Casey had a chat with his Charges as he saw their 6-point lead slip away into the 94-94 tie. I thought there might be some personnel changes. Both teams came back with the same players. Charles Smith over Bird.
And that's where Kevin McHale would have a little bit better advantage defensively against Charles Smith on that type of a move. And he's been on the bench for a considerable number of minutes now.
With his 20 points. 7 on the shot clock. Nice pass from Parrish. Lewis draws the foul.
And see, this is where if the game gets very close and you come down to half-court execution, the Celtics certainly have an advantage. There's the pass into Parrish. And a good cut from the right part of your screen as you see Lewis go by as Charles Smith got caught looking at the pass, and there's the foul coming over to help out from the weak side. But you can't get caught doing that. I mean, you have to keep relationship between your man and ball. When the pass went in, he should have dropped his body back to keep his man outside and side of the ball as well. Instead, he turned his head and paid the price, but that was a good cut on the part of Reggie Lewis, because that's what you should do when your man turns his head.
Kevin McHale, one of the celebrities watching this game at the moment with 6.5 minutes to go. They called Charles Smith for the personal, reaching in on the drive. That's 4 on Charles Smith, by the way. Harper will pull up over Reggie Lewis.
See, again, Bob, that's not the kind of shot that you want.
Bird, full-length court attempted for Reggie Lewis. Intercepted by Harper. They take it right back to the hoop. Charles Smith with the rebound. And he goes down like he was hit at a heavyweight fight. Parrish will pick up the personal. Could have been any number of players getting called. That is Parrish's first personal foul of the game.
Very unusual for Robert to only have one. As we see the good penetration move, Harper gliding in there, can't get the bounce, but look at how Smith just snuck in there. Nobody screened them off, lost the handle, picks it up and goes up strong, and you saw Robert Parrish committing the foul. But good hustle on the part of Smith. We've seen him do that a number of times this evening.
Well, our national viewers on TNT don't get a chance to see the Los Angeles Clippers nearly as much as the Celtics or the Lakers or the teams that have been recently in the NBA quarterfinals and semis and finals and such. But I'll tell you what, playing like this, you'll be able to see them more. This is an entertaining basketball.
Well, they have a lot of talented players, a lot of great athletes, as we pointed out, and they're just going to keep getting better and better.
Lewis from Parrish. And he draws the foul. Boston taking it inside, as we've seen them do so many times.
Well, that's where they've made their reputation over the years, getting inside and dominating in that area, and they're doing a good job with that here this evening in the late stages of this ball game. But they've gotten the game down to a tempo that really plays into their favor. A much slower type of a ball game, and the Clippers have got to find some way to come up with some good defensive efforts and get a few more of those breaking opportunities that have been the difference in them being able to get a lead in this game.
Along with Rick Barry, this is Bob Neal from the Sports Arena. Celtics and Clippers. It's tied at 98, 5:43 remaining. By the way, that personal was on Benoit Benjamin, his third.
15 ties now.
Reggie Lewis with 22 points in this game. He's performing here like we saw him last year. Inside to Charles Smith.
Boy, I tell you what, there was some great defense played by the Celtics that time. They didn't join the old paratrooper club, and it looked like they had hands on the ball, and they were very unhappy about this call. Here's the move inside. Now watch the big fake here. They don't go for it, and there he goes up, and boom, across the arm. Now I saw Robert Parrish certainly got him across the forearm there.
Parrish got the foul. McHale did not. It was Robert Parrish's second personal. McHale, by the way, has 4.
I think we've got our 18th lead change.
Smith with 24 points in this game tonight. Parrish rebounds in this free throw. Clippers by 1. Do you realize the Clippers were favored over the Celtics by 1 point coming into this game tonight? They're talking around the arena. Nobody ever remembers Clippers being favored over the Celtics before. Bird with about 3 or 4 moves before he takes it off the glass. Bird gets his second field goal of the 4th period, has 23 points. The Celtics have the 1-point lead. Lead change 19. Here's Charles Smith from long range.
Well, again, showing you he has that versatility we talked about. Put it on the floor, shoot the 18-footer, post up. Talented player.
Charles Smith was only 5'11" when he was in 9th grade in high school. He grew up in youth basketball, handling it and shooting from the perimeter, said it served him well when he added the nearly extra foot height. Bird with the turnaround. Rebound Benjamin from the weak side.
You mean there's hope for my boys yet, huh?
Yes. Clippers by 1. 4:24 to go in the game. 8 on the shot clock and counting. Inside to Smith. He'll get the three-point opportunity. Bird with the push. That's 4 personals on Bird. 28 in this game for Charles Smith, who has just been spectacular in all areas. Jimmy Rogers gets a timeout. There's the push and the three-point opportunity. Have built a three-point lead with 4:17 remaining in the game. Charles Smith got the basket. He'll have the three-point opportunity. That brings them out of their seats for some celebrating here at the Sports Arena. Remember, the Clippers have never beaten Boston since the franchise moved from San Diego. And at the timeout, Arsenio Hall was over in the huddle saying, let's get busy.
Yeah, the old familiar pumping of the right fist, as he is known for.
Is that what that's called?
Very, very talented guy. Fun show.
I wondered what that was called. The pumping of the right fist.
Yeah, the pumping of the right fist.
This game's about that even. The Clippers have a three-point lead. By the way, Charles Smith has his career high. 28 points here tonight. 26 previously, now 29. Career high from Charles Smith out of Pittsburgh by way of the U.S. Olympic team. McHale trying to battle through a pick. Manning all over him down there. Knocked out of bounds. 10 seconds on the clock. Danny Manning handles the ball in the open court really well, and you saw his strength against McHale.
Well, that's where he really improved at Kansas going into his last couple of years, is learning how to play inside and getting upper body strength.
4 on the clock. Bird goes for 3. He misses it. Benjamin kept it alive for Charles Smith. The 4-point lead belongs to the Clippers. They can match their game-high 6-point lead or better with a bucket here. Smith again, showing some ball handling also. The reversal, Manning blocked by Parrish. They're going to call him for the foul.
But you see the presence of mind of Danny Manning. A lot of players would have been willing to take the open shot when they caught that ball. Danny wisely took it strong to the basket. That's how you get to the line. That's how you win basketball games.
And the only time this franchise had really any success against Boston was when they were in Buffalo, which was a long time ago, prior to San Diego. Manning has 14 points. And the Clippers have a 5-point lead with 3.5 remaining in the game. Lewis draws the foul. His biggest defense came from Parrish on that play. Almost ran into it. That'll be the 4th personal on Benjamin.
Still plenty of time for the Celtics here with 3:23. And again, the scary thing about it is that the Clippers seem to be content to just bring it up the court and trying to use the clock as an ally. But I still believe they have to try to get some transition easy hoops for themselves to be able to beat this Boston Celtic team.
Reggie Lewis has 23. He's only 3 points away from his season high of 26.
That, Bob, or continue to do the kind of plays they did to Charles Smith when they were able to get him down low inside on front of Larry Bird with good position. That was good half-court offense, but they don't do that all the time. They sometimes will take those bad shots. Let's see how they do these next few possessions.
Bird had 16 at the half. 23 now. Has only 2 field goals here in the 4th quarter with 3 minutes remaining. 6 on the shot clock. Harper over Parrish. What a shot by Ron Harper. He has 20. Balanced scoring by this Clippers club. The lead is 5. McHale drew 3 players. Finally finds the open man. It's Lewis with a tough baseline runner. He's now matched his season high.
Clippers got away with just an incredible shot on the part of Harper the last time down. That was not exactly the shot that Casey would like to see him get.
They're trying to get it into Charles Smith against McHale. They've isolated that side. McHale commits the foul. That'll be number 5. Well, this is everybody kept saying, where are all those young players the Clippers kept drafting. Well, here's one of them.
And again, the move was Kevin caught him on the left wrist as Charles made the little turn, move to the baseline.
An even 30 for Charles Smith tonight. Did I see more gray hair in the head of Jimmy Rogers there than this time last year?
This job can do that to you.
Clippers by 5, 2:20 to go in the ball game. Bird, that's a two-pointer. Clippers by 3. Been a beautiful basketball game. 20-plus lead changes. Charles Smith. In and out, rebound, Parrish. Big miss. As the Celtics could pull to within 1 or tie. They'll get a timeout with 15 seconds on the shot clock, just as Bird had broken loose from a weak side screen. We'll be right back. 1:49 remaining in this ball game. Sellout crowd at the Sports Arena in Los Angeles. Boston is undefeated in Los Angeles since the Clippers moved here from San Diego, but that streak is threatened tonight. Hope you'll join yours truly and Tim Foley on New Year's Eve at 8 o'clock Eastern Time in Tucson, Arizona, on our sister station, Superstation TBS, for the inaugural Copper Bowl, North Carolina State.
And in case somebody just tuned in, yours truly is Bob Neal.
Thank you, Rick. And Arizona's Wildcats. Arizona favored in that game by a touchdown, but Arizona lost their leading rusher, David Eldridge. That'll even that ball game up. Really, it's an Arizona running game versus the Shane Montgomery passing game of North Carolina State.
Well, it's a little bit like what we're watching here.
Exactly.
Clippers trying to get the running game against the different game of the Celtics.
Celtics down by 3 with 1:43 remaining. Bird can't get it to go down. It's been the story of his year often this year, even though he has 25 in the game. 1.5 minutes to go. I have a feeling that wasn't the last shot we'll see from Bird. Harper over McHale. McHale was there for the defense, and Parrish runs it down. Parrish with 15 boards tonight. Or glasses. Lewis with the miss. Parrish with the follow, and it's a one-point Clippers game with 1:11 to go. The Boston bench standing and applauding on these players on the floor. Johnson and Lewis with McHale, Bird, and Parrish. Inside a minute. Isolating Smith on McHale. McHale with 5 fouls. The miss, and it's Boston ball, trailing by 1 with 48 seconds to go. The Clippers have never beaten the Celtics in Los Angeles. Bird comes loose from the baseline screen. Kicks it out to Dennis Johnson. 7 on the shot clock. Bird's going to drive on Smith. Pulls up. Misses. McHale. No, they say it's the Clippers who knocked it out of bounds. Boston will have the ball with 25 seconds remaining, and Jimmy Rogers gets a timeout. It's only a 20-second timeout.
Well, now certainly what the Celtics have an opportunity to do here is to go ahead and wind down the clock and go for an opportunity with the shot clock down considerably low, with one chance to get an offensive board should they not drop it in, trailing by 1 point. The last play on the shot as Larry Bird made the move against Charles Smith, who got tripped up. Larry 2 times in a row now unable to get that shot to drop. Here you see the ball last touch in between. It was Manny coming through with his hand and knocking it out of Kevin's hand. An excellent call. But this is what you'd want to do. Play it down, get a good opportunity. I would think they'd like to get it inside instead of trying to go for the perimeter shot. Maybe inside the Parrish or McHale. And then, again, with a few seconds left in the shot clock, with one offensive opportunity, which doesn't leave the Clippers a lot of time then if they make it.
Almost identical, the shot clock and the game clock. Lewis
They're calling it a pass-off, I think. Or
Yes,
I don't
they're
know.
calling a foul. It's on the Clippers, and it's against Ron Harper.
Calling a two-shot foul, not a pass. I thought Lewis has done a great job of going to the basket strong in this game. Here you see they overplay him. He takes advantage of it. Danny Manning over to help out. Now Harper up in the air. Harper, boy, I tell you, I don't know where I saw any contact on that play.
Manning had the block, too. Harper doesn't like it, and Lewis goes to the line. A chance to give the Celtics the lead. It's tied. 10 seconds remains in this game, and now we have the tenths of seconds on the shot clock, on the game clock, and it'll really matter. 10.3 seconds remaining. Celtics by 1. Clippers have 3 full timeouts remaining, and Don Casey will use one of those. So the Clippers had a 6-point lead. The veteran Boston club has come back to regain the lead with 10.3 seconds remaining. Clippers last scored with 2:24 to go in this game.
And Bob, the big problem again is that it was like they were playing not to lose instead of playing to win. The way they were getting that lead was by getting the running game going. They never really got anything going the last 4, 5, 6 minutes of this ball game, and as a result, they played Boston Celtic basketball. The Celtics clamped down some on the defense and were able to go down then and execute their half-court offense, get themselves right back in this ball game, whereas now they have a 1-point lead. And Clippers' chance now to try and go ahead and get a shot up there with just a few seconds left, in hopes that if they don't make it, that they have an opportunity to get one offensive rebound chance, and then that wouldn't leave much time for the Boston Celtics. The only thing the Celtics did wrong that time was that they went ahead a little bit early and are giving the Clippers plenty of time to try and still win this basketball game. But if something's there like a drive, you've got to take it, and that was a good move by Lewis.
The man for Boston has been Reggie Lewis off the bench. 28 points, his season high. He was the man who just hit the go-ahead free throws. Charles Smith against McHale. Got Parrish airborne. Smith with the bucket. 5.1 seconds remaining. Boston wants and gets a timeout. Oh, my. Charles Smith. That took a lot of poise.
Well, my question is did he travel? The other one is that he might have gone a little early. 5.1 seconds, an eternity in an NBA game right now. We'll watch it again. There's the inbounds pass to Smith. Now watch at the end of this move if indeed he's going to travel with the ball. There's the crossover. Here he goes. He stopped one. Boom. Now watch. He's traveled. He drifted his foot. He dragged that pivot foot.
Definitely.
That's a traveling violation. That basket should not have counted, but still 5.1 for the Boston Celtics.
His foot skidded on the floor, also moved his foot. Nevertheless, it's a 1-point Clippers lead with 5.1 remaining. Year in, year out, 2 years ago, we know what's going to happen here. Some kind of two-man game, perhaps McHale and Bird launching one or McHale taking it inside. What about 1989?
About 1989, I think, well, right here with this Boston Celtic team to finish off towards the end of the year, I would think that they're going to want to go inside. And then, of course, they have the option of trying to spot some people up. They've had good success with their inside game. Go to the basket. Lewis has been real good going to the hoop strong. You got McHale down and low to post up. And again, a penetration moves create so many problems for you. Parrish got that one big basket on a penetration move because Benjamin had to come over to pick up Lewis, and then Parrish was there for the offensive boards. You just get so much more happening for yourself on the positive side, Bob, if you can get to the basket or get inside. So, but again, of course, you still have Larry Bird outside. He's missed 2 tries from out there. I would think the percentage is in his favor that if he does take a shot from the outside, he's liable to drop it this time.
Remember, Boston has no timeouts remaining. They must get this ball inbounded also. 5-second count. Of course, if they don't, there's only a tenth of a second left. Remember this year, tenths of seconds on the game clock. 5.1 seconds remaining. Charles Smith, 33 points. That's his career high. They're going to, looks like the Clippers are going to get a timeout, and it may be a 20. It's a full timeout, and we'll take a commercial break here with 5.1 seconds remaining. 17 ties, 23 lead changes, and if there's another, Boston will probably win. I'll tell you again that the Clippers have never defeated Boston in Los Angeles. The last win was in '84 when this team was still in San Diego. So Boston has 5.1 seconds, no timeout remaining.
And they need to put somebody on that ball, creating a lot of pressure for the inbounds pass, as you pointed out, without a timeout remaining. That's why they've got Kevin McHale making the inbounds pass, use his size there. But no, they're backing off right now. At least Danny Manning is. And maybe he'll move up.
Johnson, Parrish, Reggie Lewis, Bird, and McHale on the floor for the Celtics, trailing by 1 with 5.1 seconds to go. In
to Bird. He's fouled with 0.2 of a second remaining on the shot attempt. Larry Bird, who shoots at a 92% clip, draws the foul from Charles Smith.
Boy, Charles looked like he was just standing there, and Larry had initiated the contact. Let's watch this play again. Watch Smith now as he's going to come over, 54 to come and cut off Larry Bird. There he is. Now he stops, hands straight up in the air, just stands up. He left his feet. That's where he made the problem. He went up in the air. Had he stayed down on the ground, on the court, it could have made a difference. Look at Larry saying to the crowd, come on, yell a little bit louder.
Bird shooting 92%. He gets the first. It's tied. This will effectively win the game with 0.2 of a second remaining.
Well, I've seen stranger things happen, Bob. You never really know here, but he's got to knock this one in.
And does. The Clippers get a timeout with 0.2 of a second. It certainly made it interesting to have the tenths of seconds on the clock this year. Is there even an opportunity to inbound it and shoot it in 0.2 of a second? When we come back, we'll find out.
Because his back was to the basket. He had to catch it, turn, and then shoot. And no question the horn had gone off before he shot the ball.
Well, that was a courageous call by Mike Mathis. Believe me, I mean, the crowd got on their feet in an instant. Let's watch it again. The inbound to Harper. He had his back to the basket.
Well, there's no chance. Here he's back to the basket. Now he's going to have to turn. Boom, with a man on him. No, now he turns. He goes up. Boom, gone. Now, that clock looked like it went from 2 all the way to 0 very quickly, but there's no question the ball was not off. Yes, it's 2 tenths. It's true. It goes very quick.
So, in your opinion, it was a good call?
Yeah, it really was a good call.
I'll ask you on the spot again, and you always respond. A good call by Mathis. Boston escapes with a 1-point lead, and the Clippers are yet to defeat Boston in L.A. since the move from San Diego.
Harper's basket does not count. Clipped at the buzzer, and Boston wins it by 1. Being a basketball fan in L.A. tonight, a bit like being a baseball fan in Chicago on those rare occasions in L.A.
Thanks, Craig Sager. Well, 2 big calls there at the end of the game. First of all, the foul that Larry Bird converted into the 2 free throws that gave Boston the 1-point lead. Then with 0.2 of a second remaining, the ball inbounded to Ron Harper, and watch it tick down. 0.2 now, not 2 seconds, but 0.2.
Remember, Bob, 0.2 goes very, very quickly. He's going to touch the ball at that point, and boom, the clock should start right away. And it doesn't even look like it started. Now he turns, and there it goes, and it goes from 2 to 0. But that's 0.2. Now, even if he had more time, it's still in his hand. Now it just finally went out of his hand. There's no question that the shot came after the clock had gone off. And this is the home clock, and it was just an unfortunate situation for the Clippers, but they beat themselves by not getting the breaking game going late in the game.
Tonight's Miller Lite player of the game is the man for Boston. Even though Bird hit the free throws, Reggie Lewis had his season-high 28 points and really provided the penetration to get Boston in position to draw the fouls and get the offensive rebounds. Reggie Lewis, our player of the game. On behalf of Miller Lite, TNT proud to donate $1,000 to the United Cerebral Palsy Foundation in the name of Reggie Lewis, who's now reappearing for Boston, and heaven knows they need a guard. Next TV game on TNT will be Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Phoenix versus the New York Knicks. Knicks were winners once again tonight. From the Sports Arena in Los Angeles, the Celtics 112, the Clippers 111 in a beautiful basketball game. Remember, these Clippers will be heard from. For Rick Barry, this is Bob Neal. So long, everybody.
Fight.